It was a stormy night, and I found myself waiting at the desolate bus stop, seeking refuge from the pouring rain. As the clock struck midnight, the bus arrived, an aging vehicle with worn seats and dim overhead lights. Little did I know that stepping aboard would plunge me into a chilling nightmare. I took a seat near the back, the rhythmic hum of the engine providing a semblance of comfort. The bus was nearly empty, save for a few other passengers, tired souls seeking solace in the late hours. The atmosphere inside was heavy, a sense of unease hanging in the air like a dense fog. As the bus traversed the desolate streets, it seemed to venture into unfamiliar territory, a place untouched by the light of civilization. The road stretched endlessly, flanked by shadowy trees that whispered secrets in the wind. The driver remained silent, his eyes fixed ahead, as if bound to a predetermined path. The darkness outside grew impenetrable, the only illumination coming from the flickering streetlights that occasionally dotted the deserted road. With each passing mile, a sense of foreboding settled in my chest, a feeling that I was no longer on an ordinary journey. Suddenly, the bus lurched to a stop in the middle of nowhere. Confusion gripped the passengers as we peered out the windows, searching for an explanation. What we saw chilled us to the core. A dilapidated structure stood before us, a forgotten relic in the heart of the night. Against our better judgment, we disembarked, our footsteps echoing in the silence. The building, once grand and opulent, now exuded an air of decay and abandonment. The front door beckoned us with a creak, inviting us to uncover its mysteries. Inside, the air was heavy with the weight of forgotten memories. Faded wallpaper peeled from the walls, revealing glimpses of a forgotten era. As we ventured further, whispers filled the halls, hushed voices that seemed to emanate from within the walls themselves. Rooms opened into a labyrinth of darkness, each corner holding secrets long buried. Shadows danced along the corridors, taunting our presence and fueling our mounting fear. We felt the presence of something unseen, a malevolence that lingered just beyond our senses. In one room, I stumbled upon an old photograph, an image frozen in time, capturing a group of people with hollow eyes and pained expressions. Their haunted gazes seemed to pierce through the faded paper, reaching into my very soul. It was as if their tortured spirits were trapped within the confines of that image. As we attempted to escape, the building transformed. Walls shifted, doors vanished, and the familiar became a maze of uncertainty. Panic consumed us as we desperately sought an exit, our footsteps echoing through the never-ending corridors. Finally, by some stroke of luck, we stumbled back onto the deserted road, the midnight bus waiting nearby. With trepidation, we boarded, the weight of our harrowing encounter etched upon our faces. As the bus rumbled to life, I stole a glance out the window, only to find that the dilapidated building had vanished. It was as if it had never existed, a mere figment of our collective imagination, or perhaps a portal into a realm unknown. It was a sunny afternoon when I stumbled upon the antique shop, a treasure trove of forgotten relics and mysterious curiosities. Among the dusty shelves and cluttered aisles, my eyes were drawn to a mesmerizing yet foreboding item, a beautifully crafted, ornate mirror. Intrigued by its allure, I couldn't resist the temptation to bring the mirror home. Little did I know that this seemingly innocent acquisition would unleash a malevolent presence that would haunt my every waking moment. At first, the mirror appeared ordinary, reflecting the images of my surroundings with crystal clarity. But as the days passed, an unsettling change took hold. Shadows seemed to dance within its depths, distorting the reflections in unnerving ways. Nightmares plagued my sleep, vivid and visceral, filled with haunting images of twisted figures beckoning from within the mirror's depths. I woke up drenched in sweat, my heart pounding in my chest, only to find the mirror's reflection seemingly shifting, as if mocking my fear. Strange occurrences began to unfold in my home. Objects would inexplicably move or disappear altogether, only to reappear in the mirror's reflection. Whispers echoed through the halls, soft and barely audible, as if carried on an ethereal breeze. The once familiar space became a labyrinth of uncertainty and unease. But it was the mirror itself that held the true terror. As I stared into its depths, my reflection would contort, its features morphing into a grotesque visage. Eyes filled with malevolence would meet mine, sending a chill down my spine. I sought answers, delving into the mirror's history, and what I discovered left me trembling with dread. Legends spoke of an ancient curse that befell those who dared to possess the mirror, a curse that tormented souls and bound them within its cursed glass. Desperate to break free from its grip, I sought the aid of spiritual mediums and paranormal investigators. They confirmed what I had feared. The mirror was a vessel for trapped spirits, their torment manifesting in the twisted reflections and supernatural occurrences. In a daring attempt to rid myself of the mirror's curse, we performed a cleansing ritual. Sage smoke filled the air, ancient incantations reverberated through the room, and a sense of both hope and trepidation hung in the atmosphere. But as the ritual concluded, the mirror's hold remained unbroken. With each passing day, the mirror's power grew, draining my energy and sanity. It became an inescapable presence, an ever-watchful observer that fed off my fear. It seemed to feed on the essence of my being, drawing me closer to the brink of madness. In one final act of desperation, I shattered the mirror into countless shards, hoping to sever the connection once and for all. But even as the glass shattered, an unearthly scream echoed through the room, reverberating within the fragments that lay scattered on the floor. It was supposed to be a relaxing weekend escape, an opportunity to unwind amidst the tranquility of nature at Mountain Lodge. Little did we know that our peaceful retreat would quickly descend into a nightmare of inexplicable occurrences and haunting encounters. Upon arrival, the lodge appeared idyllic, nestled among the towering trees of the remote mountainous region. The air was crisp, and the scent of pine filled our lungs as we settled into our cozy cabin. Yet, as the sun dipped below the horizon, a subtle unease settled over the group, like a shadow creeping into our midst. The first strange incident occurred on our first night. As we gathered around the fireplace, the crackling flames casting dancing shadows on the walls, we heard a soft whisper that seemed to emanate from the very structure of the cabin itself. We exchanged bewildered glances, questioning if our ears were playing tricks on us. As the days progressed, the subtle disturbances grew more pronounced. Objects would mysteriously shift from their original positions, and faint footsteps echoed in the hallway when no one was present. Unease gripped us, as if unseen eyes watched our every move. One evening, as darkness enveloped the lodge, we heard a chilling cry pierce through the night. It was a mournful wail that sent shivers down our spines. We rushed outside, searching for the source, but the vastness of the wilderness swallowed the sound, leaving us with a lingering sense of dread. The encounters became more intense and impossible to ignore. Apparitions flickered in the corners of our vision, a glimpse of a figure in the mirror, a fleeting shadow darting past the windows. Whispers filled the air, their voices laced with sorrow and despair. Desperate for answers, we delved into the history of Mountain Lodge. It was then that we discovered the dark secret that shrouded the area, a tragic incident that unfolded years ago, leaving restless spirits in its wake. The lodge had become a vessel for the trapped souls, longing for peace and resolution. As the paranormal activity escalated, fear threatened to consume us. We witnessed objects levitate before our eyes, disembodied voices echoed through the halls, and a palpable sense of malevolence permeated the once serene atmosphere. One night, unable to bear the torment any longer, we sought the aid of a local medium. She guided us through a ritual, attempting to communicate with the spirits and provide them solace. The air crackled with energy, and we could feel the presence of the supernatural growing stronger. In a climactic moment, the medium connected with the restless spirits, their sorrow and anguish palpable. They revealed the truth behind their tragic fate, imploring us to bring their story to light. With their message delivered, a sense of peace settled over the lodge, and the paranormal activity ceased. As we bid farewell to Mountain Lodge, a mixture of relief and melancholy filled our hearts. The haunting experiences had forever imprinted themselves upon our souls, a reminder of the thin veil that separates our world from the realm of the supernatural. It started as a simple invitation, an opportunity to test our wits and teamwork within the confines of an escape room. Little did we know that the door we stepped through would transport us into a twisted realm of mystery and horror. The room appeared ordinary at first glance, a dimly lit space filled with enigmatic puzzles and cryptic clues. The clock on the wall began to tick, setting the stage for the nerve-wracking challenge that awaited us. As we delved deeper into the puzzles, a sense of unease settled over us. The room seemed to have a mind of its own, shifting and changing before our eyes. Doors that once stood open would suddenly slam shut, trapping us in different sections of the room. The air grew heavy with anticipation, as if unseen eyes observed our every move. Shadows danced along the walls, their movements unnaturally fluid, defying the laws of physics. Whispers filled the air, soft and indistinct, as if secrets lingered just beyond our grasp. The puzzles became increasingly complex, pushing the limits of our sanity. We struggled to decipher cryptic messages and unlock hidden compartments, each step taking us deeper into a labyrinth of uncertainty. Time seemed to bend and stretch, the minutes elongating into an eternity of suspense. As we solved each puzzle, a sinister presence loomed ever closer. We could feel its malevolence, a palpable force that taunted our progress and sought to keep us imprisoned within the confines of the escape room. Fear threatened to overwhelm us, but we pressed on, determined to find an exit. But as the final puzzle fell into place, we realized the horrifying truth. The escape room was not a mere game. It was a sinister trap, designed to ensnare unsuspecting victims in a nightmarish ordeal. The door we had entered through had vanished, leaving us trapped in a macabre realm where escape seemed impossible. Darkness enveloped the room as panic gripped our hearts. Desperation fueled our every move as we scoured the room for any hint of a way out. But the enigmatic walls seemed to close in around us, squeezing the air from our lungs. Then, in a moment of despair, a revelation struck. A hidden panel revealed a passage that led to a secret chamber. We rushed through, guided by sheer instinct and a sliver of hope. The chamber, however, held its own horrors. Shadows twisted and contorted, taking form and mocking our attempts to flee. We could hear the haunting laughter of the unseen orchestrator, relishing in our torment. But we refused to surrender to the darkness. With a burst of determination, we navigated the treacherous chamber, evading the malicious specters that lurked within. And finally, after what felt like an eternity, we emerged into the light, free from the clutches of the enigmatic escape room. It was a dreary day when I stumbled upon the decaying facade of the old asylum, an ominous structure that stood as a haunting reminder of its dark history. Despite the warnings and cautionary tales, my curiosity got the better of me, drawing me into a realm where the line between the living and the dead blurred. As I stepped through the rusted gates, an overwhelming sense of unease settled upon me. The air felt heavy, suffocating, as if the ghosts of the past still lingered in the shadows. The asylum's corridors stretched before me, a labyrinth of forgotten memories and unspeakable horrors. With each step, the echo of my own footfalls reverberated through the desolate hallways, mingling with whispers that seemed to emanate from the very walls themselves. The remnants of peeling wallpaper and broken furniture bore witness to the institution's tumultuous past, a past that I was about to confront head-on. The first room I entered exuded an eerie stillness, as if time had come to a standstill within its walls. Dilapidated beds lined the space, their tarnished metal frames and tattered mattresses serving as reminders of the suffering endured by those confined to this place. As I ventured further, the atmosphere grew more suffocating. Shadows danced along the walls, taking on grotesque shapes that seemed to follow my every move. The air turned frigid, chilling me to the core, despite the absence of any source of cold. The asylum whispered its secrets to me as I delved deeper into its depths. Flickering lights played tricks on my mind, casting elongated shadows that resembled tortured souls reaching out for release. The lingering scent of decay and despair hung heavy in the air, overwhelming my senses. In one particularly haunting room, I discovered a collection of weathered photographs. Faces stared back at me, hollow eyes that bore witness to the anguish and torment they had endured. Their expressions froze in time, eternally etched with a mix of pain, fear, and resignation. As the daylight waned, darkness cloaked the asylum, intensifying the sense of dread that clung to me. Whispers grew louder, blending with agonized cries that seemed to rise from the very depths of the building. I could feel the weight of sorrow and suffering pressing upon me, threatening to consume my sanity. In the depths of that desolate place, I encountered apparitions, ethereal figures that manifested with a haunting clarity. They reached out with spectral hands, their presence suffused with both longing and despair. Their ghostly moans and anguished cries echoed through the corridors, reverberating in my ears. With trembling steps, I made my way back towards the asylum's exit. Shadows clawed at my heels, their grasp tightening with every passing moment. The walls seemed to close in around me, their oppressive presence pushing me towards the brink of terror. Finally, I burst through the asylum's doors, gasping for breath, as the weight of the building's malevolence lifted from my shoulders. I emerged from that forsaken place forever changed, haunted by the memories and apparitions that refused to release their grip. It began innocently enough, a new apartment, a fresh start. But little did I know that the four walls of apartment 13B held a dark secret, and that my life would soon become a waking nightmare. At first it was subtle. A flicker of movement in the corner of my eye, a soft creak in the dead of night. I brushed it off as my imagination, the quirks of an old building settling into its own rhythm. But as the days turned into weeks, the occurrences grew more frequent and unsettling. Strange whispers filled the air, as if carried on a ghostly breeze. I would wake up in the dead of night, paralyzed by an unexplained weight upon my chest. The feeling of being watched by unseen eyes. Shadows danced along the walls, their movements defying any logical explanation. Objects would shift inexplicably, as if moved by an unseen hand. The faucet would turn on by itself, releasing a rush of icy water that cut through the silence. I could hear footsteps echoing through the apartment when I was alone, their origin a mystery I couldn't unravel. Sleep became an elusive luxury, as nightmares plagued my nights. Visions of shadowy figures, their faces distorted and malevolent, invaded my dreams. I would wake up drenched in sweat, my heart pounding in my chest, unable to shake the feeling of their presence lingering in the room. As the haunting intensified, I sought answers. Research led me down a dark path, uncovering the tragic history of the apartment building. It was said that apartment 13B had been the site of a violent crime, a murder shrouded in mystery, its echoes resonating within the very walls I called home. Desperate for relief, I turned to paranormal investigators and spiritual mediums, hoping they could shed light on the source of the haunting. Their investigations revealed an unsettling truth. Restless spirits trapped within the apartment, their sorrow and anguish fueling the unexplained phenomena. Together, we performed cleansing rituals, attempting to bring peace to the tormented souls that roamed the halls. But the malevolent force refused to release its grip, growing stronger with each passing day. It seemed that the spirits were determined to keep their secrets buried within apartment 13B. As the haunting escalated, my life descended into a state of constant fear and unease. I could no longer find solace within the familiar walls that had once promised comfort. The apartment had become a prison, a battleground between the living and the dead. In a final act of desperation, I made the decision to leave. With every possession packed, I stepped out of apartment 13B, leaving behind the darkness that had consumed my life. But even as I walked away, I could feel the lingering presence of the spirits, their whispers fading into the distance.